the Broncos, Rockies, and Avalanche have all advanced to their respective sports championships. And now, the Nuggets have joined them. So, let's talk about it here on Hoop Talks. Yes, it's your boy, Jelani Goodridge-Reed, along with the crew. Today, Karina Mustafa. That is Justin Pooney. And, of course, Noor Zainab. And, guys, the Mile High. Shout out to the Mile High, real quick. This is. Whoa! Hello.
Whoa!
Mike is hot, but
Flag on the plate.
Yeah,
it's like 12:30 p.m. on a Wednesday in the middle of May.
Eastern time. But
darn,
let's go west though. Look, Mile High. This is a city, Denver, right? Known for their sports. They love their sports.
Denver.
The city of Denver. They're known for their sports.
I know, but it's just
Colorado. They love their sports. And finally, the Nuggets, after so long, have advanced to the NBA Finals. So shout out to my boy Jokic, okay? And we're gonna talk about Jokic right now. So with this title, the Western Conference title that he just got, the MVP of the Western Conference as well.
Magic Johnson.
Yes, the Magic Johnson Award. I gotta ask you guys. A lot of people are wondering, is he the best player in the world, or would a ring have to justify that? Let's go to Karina first.
Oh man, I hate these kinds of conversations.
Too late, you're in it.
It's all relative, right? To like how they're performing at the time. I know like accolades love to be like a reason to support why a player is the best player in the world. You could argue that outside of like Jimmy Butler, he's probably the best player in the playoffs right now. So I'm comfortable with saying that. Whether or not he's the best player in the world, that's extremely subjective. So I'm gonna hold off on that. I don't want to make anybody too angry.
Give it to Justin.
He is the best player in the world because if you look at all the players
hold on. I gotta cut you off. You're Mr. Joel Embiid. What happened?
Let me explain. Let me explain to you. He is the best player in the world because of all the players currently playing in the NBA playoffs right now. He is the best. Right?
Best center in the game? Best center in the game? Can you finally admit? Can you finally admit it?
Yes, I can admit it.
Thank you. Finally, it happened.
Good day, rejoice.
What a great day.
Yes, I admit I was wrong. Okay, Nikola Jokic went out there and.
Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to hear today. That's all. I'm satisfied.
But that's Hoop Talks.
But Joel Embiid still deserved the MVP in the regular season. Okay, he did. He just didn't show up in the playoffs. And Nikola Jokic did, and therefore Nikola Jokic right now currently. Of all the active players currently in the NBA, he's the best player. Yeah,
Nora, like how much would a ring mean to Jokic if they could get it done?
I think in terms of, as you said, for accolades and going back in the history, and when we like compare athletes, as you said, we compare the accolades, the championships, the MVPs, and all that stuff, but we forget the on-court impact, and that's why Jokic is, I think, such a unicorn in this league, because everything he does is so conducive to the winning of his team, but it's not going to always show on the scoreboard. It's not going to always show if you're not watching and if you're not looking for it. Even games where he's not coming through, he's putting his mark on the game by rebounding, by his defense, also by his elite passing. So I'm not going to say he's the best player in the world, but I think he's the most impactful player in the world.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, okay, I
like that.
W take for sure. And looking at the Nuggets, right? We know how good their team has been this season, but even this whole like duration of this like era, kind of, you're looking at Mike Malone. Do you think that, because a lot of people, including myself, feel like Spoelstra has been the best coach in the league, but does Mike Malone deserve that praise and that title as well?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Denver Nuggets kind of before Mike Malone took over. They're kind of just in the mid-franchise. They're kind of after that Carmelo Anthony era. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony. Enjoy retirement. The Denver Nuggets should have you at Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Denver Nuggets legend.
Yes.
Anyway, back to Mike Malone. He's had this team winning consistently in the regular season, consistently being, atop of the Western Conference standings, and they have dealt with a lot of injuries. Michael Porter Jr. has missed a whole bunch of time throughout his career. Jamal Murray, right? They've had, they've went from Paul Millsap and that kind of era, and they kind of ushered into the Jokic era as he grew into his own. But Mike Malone, the way they play basketball it's not the sexy way to play basketball. It's not,
what is the sexy
running
way to play basketball?
The way that the media wants you to play. You are down bad. You are down so bad today. Jeez. Anyway, let's just ignore this right now. But they don't play like the up-tempo, fast pace like Golden State plays. They play like watch Nikola Jokic play the game of basketball. not aesthetically pleasing. The way he
This to me, I love it.
look, the way he just kind of like waddles up and down the court.
Waddles? You're
like,
talking
throws that one-
aesthetic, and you support Joel Embiid? You like laying on the ground 24/7?
Was I talking about Joel Embiid right now?
I'm just saying.
Why are you bringing Joel Embiid to this? He's sitting at home right now.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing him up?
That's a big point.
Anyway, right? The way the Nuggets play, they play the right brand of basketball, and they don't have an overly deep lineup. They only run like 6-7 guys, right, in the rotation, and that's very impressive, right?
Yeah.
So I think, look, Mike Malone does deserve his flowers, and the way he sticks up for his players in the media, I love, and guys clearly want to play for him, and they really get behind him as well.
Cree, thoughts on Mike Malone?
Well, first he needs to have some sort of partnership deal with like Halls or like Fisherman's Friends,
'cause
like
his voice always
like
gone.
that's number one. But anyway, I think like Justin said, the consistency is what stands out to me. But now being able to back that up with success in the playoffs is important for them, because I think if they were to flame out like they kind of have been in the last couple of years again and again and again, then I think the narrative would probably be a little bit different around him, where you kind of get to a Mike Budenholzer type of conversation where you're like, okay, they can do really well in the regular season, but they have nothing to show for it in the playoffs. So I think getting to the finals was a huge step for them, and I think they're in the right position now where they could very well be the favorites to win the NBA Finals.
I think the favorites, regardless between Boston and Denver, right?
Yeah.
They probably would be the favorites.
Would.
Based off how Celtics are playing right now,
Yeah.
Even if they make
And
it
they're
out.
already the favorite for 2024 NBA Finals right now. The Nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, honestly, for me, as everybody said, it's the consistency, but also it shows that those years that you weren't able to have a healthy Jokic, a healthy Murray, he understood how to bring the best out of his role players. And we're seeing that right now in the playoffs. Whenever Jokic and Murray aren't able to come through, which is not a lot of the times, they've been actually pretty consistent this playoff run also, but when they're not able to, he set the standard for everybody on the team to know what their roles are. So they know, okay, well, this is actually Jokic and Murray's team, but if they're struggling, we know Caldwell-Pope will show up, Aaron Gordon will show up, Bruce Brown will show up. Even the other night when Jokic had trouble, he had 4 fouls in the third quarter. You saw Bruce Brown showed up from the bench. You saw Caldwell-Pope had a big game. You also saw Gordon have like big key defenses in the third quarter. So through that, you see his implementation as a coach, and I think that's very big, and that's why they're winning, and they've been consistent.
And or you mentioned all those names for these finals, depending on who they play, it's looking like the Heat, most likely, right? 3-1. Who's the most important person aside from Jokic? And of course, Murray's been balling, right? But looking at those role players, who do you say has to show up?
I would say maybe Caldwell-Pope. His offense is going to be key for the Nuggets, because whenever Jokic can't come through, Jokic, if he's not going to be an offensive weapon, he's still going to get his double-double in rebounds and assists. Murray, only thing with him is like we saw it again in Game 3 where he had 30 points in the first half and then he kind of cooled off in the second half. So you're going to need someone to come and carry that scoring load, especially against guys like Jimmy Butler who can set themselves up. Bam Adebayo will be in the paint. So I'm going to be looking at Caldwell-Pope, but I think he's actually been really good this postseason.
Yeah.
He's been a key factor for them.
For me, it'd probably be Aaron Gordon, because you look at the potential matchups, whether it's Miami or Boston, the dominant scorers on both those teams are wing players, right? Jimmy Butler, right? And then either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum in Boston. And I think Aaron Gordon, who took on that LeBron James challenge, right? I think that's going to be the biggest key. If he can neutralize guys like Tatum or Brown or Jimmy Butler, that's just going to elevate the Denver Nuggets' chance of winning, because after those two, you have or those 3 players I mentioned on the Heat, you're relying on guys like on a bunch of undrafted guys who've been playing great basketball, not taking nothing away from them. But for them to do it again in the NBA Finals, it might be a tall ask, right? So I definitely think Aaron Gordon would be.
And then real quick, I'll choose somebody different from these two. I'll say Michael Porter Jr.
I
think you need his shooting, you need his offense to back up, because you have Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are going to get theirs, and you have your role players, but you need all the role players to show up. You need everybody to help support that, especially in the moments where, like, if you're in difficult matchups where they're targeting your star players, you need to be able to open up for other people on the floor. So I think he's going to be my...
Yep, I agree with that. If he's consistent, they will be a problem. And real quick, guys, do you think the Nuggets should retire both 15s, Anthony and Jokic? Real quick.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. I'm in full agreement with that. I understand Melo, the way it ended wasn't pretty, but come on, let's put some respect on his name. Happy retirement to my boy Melo, one of my favorite players ever, and my guy Jokic. Come on, man.
Rock
We
your Denver.
know who the best in the game
Are
is.
you gonna rock your Denver Nugget jeans if they win?
Hey man, I might have to pull out the mellow jersey and the
Okay.
jeans
Ooh.
and the headband and
Jeez.
maybe the cornrows. I used to have those back in the day. But I will see you next time here on Who Talks.